la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Coons we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell a hater shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be. For all you MLS sickos, you have a home here too. And indeed, if you're a fan of the beautiful game internationally, man, we're bringing some news today as well. And today we are happy to report to you that the LA Galaxy has won another game. The reigning champs looked like themselves for one night, the well-oiled machine they were in 2024, to take out and dismantle the Vancouver Whitecaps 3-0 on Friday, July 4th, 2025, in front of one of the smallest 4th of July crowds in recent memory. We'll tell you all about the displays before the match and why some of the most ardent Galaxy fans weren't there to see the win with our special guest photographer and ACB member, Bruce Martin. The good start the Galaxy showed, how Marco Reus pulled the strings again, why all Joseph Paintsil needed was some mom love to get going, and how the Galaxy can use this performance as a blueprint to build momentum. Plus, we'll get you all caught up on the summer of soccer in the States as the Gold Cup champion gets crowned and the Club World Cup semifinals get set. All of that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. But before we go any further, I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halon. You can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune and Extra Time Talk, and you can find me at the tag right there on the screen. And since I'm here, of course, El Papa de Natita here, man, he's chilling right there on the other side, ready to come at us and give us his one-word match reaction. Yerno guapo, gitano perdido, Ananda Quintana. ¿Cómo estás, Papa? What's your one word, Papa?
Oh man, just jumping right into it. But by the way, chat, good to see y'all, everyone in chat. Really quick, I just wanted to say what's up to everyone in chat. William Lamb, G Cam, tú y yo. Hope everyone's doing well. Vamos, chicos.
Gracias por el super chat, G.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Good to see you in the chat. And of course, Razatlan, Raul G, what's up, Papa? Good to be back with everyone. And yeah, I mean, we're in a joyous mood, Papa. We saw a good 90-minute performance there on the pitch. I think a lot of fans enjoyed their fireworks.
You said you're including me. Yeah, I think you're taking it a little bit too far.
How could you not enjoy that 90-minute performance? Anyways, we'll get to that. I'm gonna call you out on that then. If you're not gonna enjoy that 90-minute performance. Truth be told, I mean there was a bigger story that day, but there's a bigger story. But we're talking about on the pitch right now. We're talking about in the four corners, in between the white lines. That's what we're talking about right now. So
Well then it is
that was it. All right, man, you're tripping. So I'm going to call you that on that later. So this
we'll get to it. We'll get to it for sure.
This is going to be a good pod for sure. But since you wanted me to get into it, it was a nostalgic evening for me, Papa. Nostalgic is my one-word match reaction. It took me back to last year. It took me back to the play that I was seeing within the team. Not only just the heart and the desire, but just the quality. I think we finally, for the first time this season, I saw the quality that we saw on that pitch. And it was just really nice to see. And then we talked about this last pod, but that symbiotic relationship between the fans and the team gave the fans something to cheer about. And those who were there, I was in the middle of that crowd. People were standing up, giving standing ovations to what they were seeing on that pitch. And it was nice. It was really nice, actually, because I did as well. Every corner kick in that second half in the last 20 minutes, fans were getting up, fans were cheering, fans were clapping for this team. And I think the players responded to it. So it was really nice to see, at least for 90 minutes. Are we back? Nah, I'm not tripping. But look, at least for the 90 minutes, it felt like the Galaxy were back to their old selves. So nostalgic.
Okay. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I really gotta believe.
Here comes Scrooge, guys. Here comes Mr. Scrooge. He's coming out.
I really gotta believe
you're
we're
ready for
watching
it.
two different games because they were really wasteful in the first half. Yeah, they played probably in the second half something more akin to what you were describing. But I think even Greg would agree there were still some things in the second half that he wasn't satisfied with. In the first half, they were really wasteful. Some of the build-up play was really nice. Defensively, they were solid, so no complaints there. But yeah, I mean, you're starting to see a Galaxy team that's getting it, but they still haven't got it. Like I said, a lot of opportunities were left on the board. I mean, the evidence is there. I mean, can you say that? Can you say that they didn't have a couple more chances on to go ahead?
3-0 at home, Papa. What else do you want? The spread was 2-1. Vancouver, Papa. What else do you want, man? 3-0 at home. Shutout. Clean sheet. We only had 2 this year. Come on.
Okay. All I'm saying is if we're here to look at things that could be done better, which we are, then yeah, things could be done better. But again, we'll get into it. Let's not expend all our energy beefing right now. We can beef later. Anyway, guys, you guys are witnessing here in chat, and if you guys are listening to this in playback, Ananda and I beefing over this Galaxy team, and you're privy to it. Thank you once again for being here. We are on the march to 700 subs. If you guys are one of those subs already, thank you so much for making this show possible. If you guys have something to get off your chest, let us know. Hit up those super chats. And really, you gotta hit that subscribe, because then you'll know when we have really fun guests like Bruce. Even though our subject matter today isn't like fun per se, well, it's not fun at all. It's actually very, very serious. But you know, he's a really good person to talk on the subject because he's been out there in the streets, as they say, and he's been seeing it with his own eyes. So anyway, if you are watching on X and Instagram, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and jump over to YouTube, hit that subscribe. And Ananda, anything else to add before we get into these announcements real quick?
Just, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. That's where you'll find me. And of course, you can find us on all the socials at Lacuna Galaxiana. Pretty simple handle there. And of course, you can catch Rob, if he didn't say it before, you can catch him on the Sporting Tribune, where he wrote a couple of really great articles recently. One of a topic that we'll, of course, discuss with Bruce. And of course, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a Non-Sad Foo Hours y otro capítulo de Lacuna Galaxiana hoy. Non-Sad Foo Hours. I like it. I like the way that sounds.
Yes, it is something to celebrate. Yes, it is a win. I'll try not to be such a Scrooge. Anyway, let's get into some announcements. And one of the things that's going to help me not be a Scrooge is things like this. I've never met this man, but I see him be active on the interwebs, and I really enjoy his takes usually. Man, I just got to say congratulations to Childish Blacktino. I guess he and his partner got engaged just today. He put out a tweet saying, you know, give me 20 likes to this or something like that. And I actually can't read it right now, but it's like, give me 20 likes or something like that, and I'll propose my partner here in Portland. Like right now, you're not down. He got the 20 likes. He proposed. She said yes. Congratulations to him. I know he takes in every game over there in ACB, so I'm sure that's going to be a big festive ACB affair. Congratulations, man. I can't wait to see you dressed up in your Galaxy gear and you know, at the altar. Moving on, we have something that we brought to you guys already, but the Leagues Cup is giving 2 meals to those who need it in North America with every ticket sold for the tournament. So if you go to this tournament, so say you and a friend go to this tournament, 4 people who are hungry get a meal because of you. So if anything, go to this tournament for that. I mean, you're gonna go and support your Galaxy most likely anyway. So this is just another incentive on there. So go ahead and support. Pubs at the Pitch is back for the third year. July 12th is next week is the first one against DC United. It seems like every time I talk about this subject, my own pup is kind of like yelling in the background, like, Dad, I want to go to this event. Please take me. So if me and Kobe don't make it out to July 12th, we'll have an opportunity to do so on August 10th, August 30th, and September 20th against FC Cincinnati, where the Galaxy are going to be doing a doggy park for the day. Fans can expect a LA Galaxy Park transformed and catered to the pups. There's going to be giveaways and all that kind of good stuff. If you're a season ticket member, you have a complimentary ticket for your pup to get into these matches. If you're not, ticket pack is available for $35. Ananda, it looks like Inter Miami might be making some moves. It could be a really big banger, actually. Fab Romano says, understand Inter Miami have now started talks with Atletico for Rodrigo de Paula. Inter Miami want to keep its ambitions high after the Club World Cup, with World Cup champion de Paula as main target. Told Rodrigo's open to the move to Inter Miami with talks underway. And then he followed that up with another tweet a couple hours later. More on Rodrigo de Paula and Inter Miami story wrote earlier today. Understand Inter Miami want de Paula this summer with talks ongoing with Atletico. As plan B, they would sign Rodrigo as a free agent in 2026. DePaul keen on the move as reported, but we have our fantastic Gambit with the good hair, aka Tommy Bogert, who said in one of his tweets on the links to Rodrigo DePaul to Inter Miami, for this to be possible, Miami would have to lose one DP. Only way would likely mean a retirement for Sergio Busquets. It'd be fun, but I for sure wouldn't recommend a $20 million fee for a box-to-box midfielder given roster rules. What do you think, Ananda? If DePaul becomes available and is willing, he's a quality player. Everybody knows it. Do you need to pull the trigger? Is Tommy right? Like, he's a holding midfielder. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, if Jorge Mas wants to splash the cash, I guess there's no salary cap around that, right? But if you're telling me you're going to replace Busquets, who is obviously past his prime, we saw him in the Club World Cup. When he gets pressed, he tends to make those mistakes out of the back, and he's that holding midfielder position is really important for Miami. It's the thing that protects the back four, because we know that is the weakest part of their team. So, I mean, money aside, I think that's a no-brainer. If I would gladly replace Rodrigo de Paul for Busquets, who, again, Busquets is a great player, but he's past his prime. So, again, I mean, in the end, it's going to be about the price tag. But if Jorge Mas wants to spend and invest in his club, I think this is a no-brainer. But again, money aside, right? $20 million. It is pretty steep for a 32-year-old, especially for an MLS club, for sure. But from a quality and talent perspective, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, well, I like the ambition. This is something that MLS needs to continue to do is bring in quality players. I mean, even if they're on the other side of 30. Somebody who's not on the other side of 30 and might, by all intents and purposes, if the rumors are to be believed, might be on his way out is Gabriel Pec to Palmeiras. This one does not seem to want to go away. This one has been reported on for a little bit, how Palmeiras want to make him the centerpiece of their project, or at least one of the jewels in the crown to this new administration over there at the club that is trying to bring in a bunch of new players. The report from Diego Firminoff in Brazil says Palmeiras is set to begin negotiations with the Galaxy for Gabriel Pec in the upcoming days. And the Galaxy, has been made aware that they're going to be approached on this. Fab Romano reported that Ramon Sosa to Palmeiras was completed for a reported $14 million fee. And Ananda, you actually kind of speculated that this might kill the Pec to Palmeiras rumor now that they have a right winger. I have read reports that that's not the case. Like they're loading up. Like they want them both. So Sosa is signed, sealed, delivered, but they do still want Pec. And that's, if my Portuguese is on, I just learned how to read Spanish and English. So, I was trying to translate Portuguese earlier, but that's what I understood that to mean. It's interesting, though, that Sosa and Pecci continue to be linked in transfer rumors together. Sosa went to Nottingham Forest for 12 million euros when the Galaxy passed on him, and now he's at Palmeiras. And will he be Gabriel Pecky's new teammate? Who knows? Really quick, we want to send a get well soon to Seven Fry. The Seattle keeper took a nasty knock to the head in a collision towards the end of the game here against Columbus, and their ambulance had to come out onto the field and everything. And so we want to wish Seven Fry a get well soon. This is one of those incidents that should have never happened. This happened past the allotted 7 minutes of injury time in this match, and it prompted both coaches, Wilfred Nancy and Brian Schmetzer, to ask for this game to be abandoned because there was only 10 seconds left, and it had just gone over already. And thankfully, people like Wilfred Nancy exist, and he showed his class. And he advocated for this game as well as the opponent to be abandoned. Stephen Fry said thank you to the people wishing him well. He said, still trying to figure out what happened at the end of the game, but I'm incredibly grateful to all the staff that looked after me and happy to be back home and resting now. What resonates is all the messages, calls, and love I've received from so many of you. Get well soon. FIFA World Cup rundown real quick so we can get to our special guest, Bruce. Fluminense beats Al Hilal 2-1, with Chelsea beating Palmeiras by the same scoreline. PSG took out the German champs, Bayern Munich 2-0, and then in the final stage match, Real Madrid beats Dortmund 3-2, and now the semifinals are set. Fluminense plays Chelsea on Tuesday, 7-8 at 12 p.m. And the next day, Real Madrid and PSG face off, and what really should be
what a cracker
final. Yeah,
I'm telling you, the winner. I'm telling you, the winner of that game is going to win the whole thing. That's what I said from the beginning. I'm sticking by it.
Speaking of finals, Ananda, Gold Cup final, U.S. men's national team loses this one to El Tri 2-1. Of course, there was a controversial call in this one, as usual.
Oh, you mean this guy?
Oh man, that is redonkulous. I hate that even happened. Jesus,
that's why I skipped it.
That's seared into my memory now. Anyway, this is definitely a handball. I
think so, right? I think so. I'm trying to get brainwashed into that it isn't, but I think it's a handball.
I mean, God, this has got to. I mean, unless my eyes deceive me. But anyway, this one does not get called for a penalty. In the wake of the loss, there was good feeling. Tim Howard says, I don't believe in moral victories, but I have to say this young team getting to a final, going toe-to-toe with Mexico, they can hang their heads high. Landon Donovan, who just last month was ripping on this team, said, we don't ever take solace in losing, but I think it was a big stepping stone for this team. I had many failures. The only way to get to experience is by experiencing it. There's no substitute. And now, honestly, this tournament, for all the good feeling that it ends with, is Mexico's champion.
But you heard all those like sort of positive commentary and positive feelings, Rob, but what do you think? Do you think overall was this Gold Cup a success or a complete failure for the national team, in your opinion?
It depends what your standards are, right? Because we've already spoken about how the U.S. has no competitive games for the rest of the year until the World Cup, right? So this was the last competitive game, and you wanted to win it as well. Mauricio Pochettino, in charge of this team, has a losing record against the bigger national teams, right? They lost to Turkey, they've lost to Mexico, Switzerland. They haven't seemed to get it done against the bigger teams. This is also a mentality thing, right? For as much as you want to say like, hey, they showed well, they got to the final, they didn't win it, So, and they, like Landon said, you experience those things by doing them. So it's kind of lukewarm. It's tepid. They showed well. Some players definitely improved a lot, but as a collective, as a team, there's still miles to go.
Yeah, we even talk about it with the Galaxy, right? There are moral victories, but at the end of the day, it's on face value, it's a failure, right? You didn't complete your objective, which was to win this tournament. Yes, you can take the moral victories with you along the rest of your journey to the World Cup, but moral victories only get you so far. We've learned this so far with the Galaxy, right, over the years. So especially this year. So again, I think you're right. I think it is to interpretation, but on paper, this is a failure, and we can't sugarcoat it any other way.
Right. Like I said, it remains to be seen what's going to happen in a year. But right now, I'm not optimistic. Something I am optimistic for is Joseph Paintsil and his resurgence. Hopefully, he makes the team of the match week for his 2-goal performance, his brace against Vancouver. This is the Joseph that we saw last year. And, speaking of seeing things, we mentioned at the top of the show that the Galaxy's most hardcore and ardent supporters weren't in the stands to see this win. And here to tell us a little bit more about why that might be, things that he's seen on the street, since this crazy month has started, is our friend Bruce Martin. He's back here on the show with us, to basically share his thoughts. So, Bruce, thank you so much for being back with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Bruce.
man. First, before we get into the heavy, let me congratulate you on the book.
Yeah,
it was lovely.
Thank you.
Definitely a must-have for any true G. I mean, just a quick anecdote. I mean, when you released it, I was actually between jobs, and I was literally looking for quarters and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I gotta cop this book.
I appreciate it.
It didn't end up happening, but for everybody that has it, I know that they're in love with it, man. Fantastic work. But yeah, I mean, last time you were here was a long time ago. It was season 1, Ananda. I don't know if you realize that, season 1, episode 33. So it was a long time. Yes, exactly.
I think it was a Rose Bowl game, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a good day. It was a good day.
Was.
And your shots from that game was. I took a look at some of those again, man, because I have some of them here, and poof, yeah, what a day. What a day. Captured amazing moments, amazing memories.
Exactly, and that's my point, right? You were here in the wake of that historic 2-1 Galaxy win at the Rose Bowl, which you captured, and now you're here in historic times as well, a time of upheaval, uncertainty, and fear here for the immigrant communities of Los Angeles, which you've photographed firsthand. You've been on the streets, front and center. Why was it important for you to be out there, man?
Part of it is just the whole human rights thing, the whole lack of due process, stuff like that. Another thing is the city I'm from. I don't want to say exactly what city. I grew up in the part of town that was 99% Hispanic, Latino. All my neighbors were, and I grew up there for first 11 or 12 years of my life. So that culture kind of shaped me into who I am. In terms of, that's where I found out about soccer. That's just, that's what I grew up around for the first 12 years. And then just the first night I went out was when they showed up at Chinatown at 11 p.m. or something like that. I think it was over a month ago at this point.
Yeah, right.
And I had a really hard day that day, and I saw the tweet that they were headed over there, and I was like, well, really the only thing I know to do is take photos. So I feel like I have to go out there and be a extra body there, and also to document it. And then from that point on, I was out for I think a week straight every single night. Sometimes until 12:30, 1 in the morning, and I get up at 5 for work, just documenting everything I can, because it's super important to me what's going on right now.
Yeah, no, just absolutely, and documenting what's happening in general, because then no one could turn around and say no, that didn't happen. No, sucker, Mayo covered it. We have it, and it's there, it's documented. And speaking of,
these are so fire, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Ananda, you've seen the one in the corner on the top left got turned into a T-shirt, and ACB was able to turn that T-shirt into tangible action for the immigrant community, and they donated the proceeds for the shirt. But what were those first days like for you, Mayo? Did you fear for your safety at all? I know it was crazy out there. Have you, in the wake of your photos being, published on the internet? Has anybody bothered you, in your DMs? What has it been like?
It was at like the Chinatown one was pretty mellow. And then it wasn't the following day. I think it was 2 days after, when like that big one that went onto the freeway and everything. That one was pretty crazy, but I've never really been scared. Like, I don't know. I'm not really scared as to what they'll do to me. That day I was shot 3 times. It hurts, but it just leaves a bruise. Like, it's just more important for me to document it than be like, oh shit, something might happen to me. Let me not capture the moment, And then as far as people like in my DMs or anything, there was one person that was just trolling when we posted the shirt for sale, which it's just clear trolling. So I just blocked him and deleted his comments. And then I've had a few DMs that are, what's the word? Like aggressive towards my outlook and my opinions, political. And then a couple that are just, they say they're central, but we all know they're right leaning. And they're like, well, where was this when Obama was deporting people and blah, blah, blah. And
the whataboutisms.
Yeah. And I've always been political, and I don't know how people forget that there were protests back then. The Obama administration was sued and lost. So yeah, it's not as bad as I'm sure other people have, but I have had gotten probably like 6 or 7 people.
We saw some early in the protest. We saw some members of ACB actually photographed at the protests, and we highlighted them on this show. And for me, in the midst of the darkness, it was really nice to see members of this Galaxy community out there, again on the front lines. So that's been a moment that's stood out for me with this whole thing, and what you've seen. What's been a moment that's stood out to you?
Oh man. Well, first off, like there's multiple Galaxy members, ACB members that have pretty much gone everywhere with me. And then a lot of stuff is just people willing to help out. Like any protest, there's medics everywhere. There's little like wagons being pulled with food and water. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like people almost become nicer when this type of shit is going on, because it's kind of like, oh, well, everything else is not that big of a deal.
Right.
Let's look after our community and our people.
Humanity. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. People's humanity starts coming out for good, and then sometimes, unfortunately, for bad. As all this is happening, Mayo, it dawns on a lot of people that, a couple of days after ICE occupies Los Angeles, that a lot of the prominent sports teams in the city have not made a statement, especially in light of Angel City FC making a statement, LAFC making a statement. Amongst those, the Galaxy. They don't make a statement. Time drags on. I'm able to confirm that they aren't going to make a statement. When you hear about this and you realize that the team that you support, which has a huge Latino fan base, they're not going to be making a statement, and they pretty much said so. What was your thinking? Were you surprised at all? Were you angry? Were you just like, that's par for the course? That I was expecting it. What was going on in your head?
I was both sad and angry. Like, what was it? The day of the No Kings protests, when I went home and all the stuff in LA was happening in terms of LAPD being LAPD and doing what they usually do. I texted someone, I won't say who, but I texted someone just kind of like, I don't know if I really want to go to games anymore, just because the Galaxy have always said like they're for the culture and everything like that. They've leaned heavy into that aspect in marketing and stuff like that. Like when we signed Chicha, things like that. And then when stuff is actually happening to the culture, they're quiet. You know, even I tell people, even if it was just a fluff piece where they just posted something that they didn't truly mean, you know what I mean? It's just optics. But for them to like not say anything, it's beyond disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a bunch of times here. Everybody knows how Ananda and I feel, but there are a element of Galaxy fans that have even been in my DMs and stuff like that have let me know that, you know, some fans are not for it. They seem to think that the team shouldn't have to make a statement, you know, preferring to separate sport and politics. I mean, obviously, in your view, the Galaxy has a responsibility to do so, but why, in your view, is it important for the Galaxy to make a statement, being that they are, you know, just a sports team, according to some fans?
Well, I'm not going to say what exactly they've made statements about before, but it is weird that they've released statements for current affairs for certain topics. And then when it comes to something like this, that they're just quiet when they have such a huge Hispanic Latino fan base. And then, like I said, they've leaned into the culture when it comes to marketing and stuff like that, just to make money.
Well, that's what the perception was for a lot of the supporter groups, a lot of people in the supporter groups as well. And we know that because the supporter groups in mass responded by canceling or suspending all team related activities in the wake of, you know, the Galaxy letting it be known that they weren't going to make a statement. I know that, you know, some of this is, you know, privy, but as much as you can review or, you know, infer from, you know, your association and, you know, being part of ACB, what was the thinking in the group at the time? You know, was it immediately like, no, we have to take action? What was there, you know, some kind of debate on, you know, what kind of action was going to be taken? What was going on?
I don't want to say too much in regards to that. Just that there's a high percentage of everyone in our group that has the same outlook, political view, stuff like that. It's not 100%, but it's hot, you know, not probably in the 90s. So I feel like when all this started, we all already kind of imagined doing something like this. But in terms of everything else, I'm not going to go into that.
Oh, definitely. Fast forward to July 4th. Mm-hmm. You know, the team doesn't have a match until then at the digs, right? So really there had been no opportunity to manifest or do anything live or in person. Like I mentioned, the suspension of the annual trip to San Jose was among the activities that was suspended. This TIFO that both sides both sides rolled out a TIFO, but this TIFO here, Fight Ignorance, Not Immigrants, was seen far and wide. You know, just massive. I mean, I know that this made it to French media, this made it to Moroccan media, you know, so shout out to, you know, ACB and Victoria Block and everybody, Galaxians and Outlaws, for putting this together there. Obviously, Fight Ignorance, Not Immigrants means something to me. What was for you the message behind this message?
For me, it's just, you know, fight the fascism and just the bullshit that's going on right now with this administration. You know, they're trying to make it out that immigrants are the cause and the purpose of all the issues in this country, and it's not at all. And pretty much that's what it boils down to.
So I've heard through sources, both in supporter groups and source within the team, that the supporter groups and the team worked together to get this TIFO approved with the league. I'm not sure if you're in the know about any of that, but if you are, how did this come about? And do you feel like it's a step in the right direction for, you know, supporter groups and the front office working together?
Well, I'm not on the board anymore, so I can't speak on the board and the FO and the league working on this together. But I don't think this is a correct step, in terms of supporter groups in the league or supporter groups in FOs, because there's so much stuff that is banned from taking in regards to this specific current affair. So many stuff like signs and stuff you can't take in. They'll confiscate them, stuff like that. So
there's still a lot of work to do.
I think it was the opposite. I think it grew supporter groups in FO and the league further apart.
Really good viewpoint to have. Yeah. I mean, it's guys. I mean, when we bring people like Bruce on, it's because I'm in the press box. Ananda's completely on the other side of the stadium. So it's interesting hearing that point of view. Bruce, ACB and Galaxians took it a step beyond the TIFO when they walked out en masse in the 12th minute. What was that moment like for you? Was there any specific aim or goal for the walkout?
Just I think to get our point across that we're just disappointed that the Galaxy hasn't said anything, hasn't put any money towards it, like nothing like that. I've been with ACB for 12 years now or something like that, and we've done I think 3 walkouts before, but this one felt like kind of the biggest and the most important, just because how big this issue is.
I don't disagree. When I said that the TIFO had been seen far and wide, I mean the walkout was the same thing. And Bruce, let me tell you, I mean, I wrote a story about the walkout, and just for reporting on it, I started to get hate emails about this. So I can only imagine what ACB leadership might be going through in their DMs and stuff like that. So resist. But we all heard the groups outside the stadium. I mean, you could clearly hear the drums and stuff like that. What was the atmosphere like back outside in the tailgate area?
Somber, kind of. A lot of us were talking to each other like that might be the last time we're in the stadium for who knows how long. I have my own beliefs in terms of what it would take for me to go back to a game, and everyone has their own beliefs. But there was a couple of people that from ACB, not necessarily board, but leadership, that spoke just in regards of, Saturday's game, things like that. And then just did our chants. I left probably half an hour after going outside the stadium. But I know people stayed a long time and chanted and stuff like that. Because even outside of Galaxy, we're all close to each other. We're all friends,
Oh,
right.
No, definitely. That's why when I brought up Charles Blacktino earlier, I said, that's certainly going to be. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I've never met the man, but I just follow him on Twitter and stuff like that. And I know that that's probably going to be just a crazy ACB affair, and it's going to be a lot of good times for all you guys. But
yeah.
You've been a member of ACB a long time, and maybe. And I don't know how this would have happened, but if there are any new Galaxy fans out there that maybe want to find out more about ACB and support their efforts, Victoria Block's efforts, in solidarity with LA's immigrant communities, how should they get in touch? Is it just through the DMs, or should they reach out to somebody specific?
Through the DMs usually is the best. I've had people reach out to me on Instagram. And when I was on the board, I was trying to be like that person to shepherd new people in, because it is a very intimidating thing, joining a group like ACB or any other supporters group. Because if you don't know anyone, you're kind of like, well, I'm nervous, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do try to help new people come in and feel comfortable. But yeah, DMs, Instagram, Twitter, things like that.
Slide in those DMs, guys. Slide in those DMs.
Yeah, slide in those DMs. And guys, if you're at all, Bruce said it could be intimidating if you're at all intimidated. I mean, really, it's once you get past that initial hello, everybody is super welcoming.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, we know so many good people in ACB and Galaxians and Outlaws, and they've all been nothing but nice. So get out there and enjoy that Galaxy community, especially now that this Galaxy community needs to be unified more than ever. Bruce, you said you might not be. Well, you said we won't be going to games for a little while, so maybe you won't know the answer to this question, but is there more action planned for this coming week against DC United on the 12th?
That I don't know. I'm, as much as I love ACB and everything, I'm not in the board, I'm not in the Discord. I just have my core group of people I talk to from ACB, so I don't really know the ins and outs until like the night before type of thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You get the email and you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be here at this time.
Yeah, or certain things I'll talk to certain people about, but I just been so busy and so much stuff in my life that I can't keep up with everything.
Yeah.
Well, we do want to thank you, for taking the time out. You've obviously been out there in the streets, covering this impactful time here in Los Angeles' history, and so taking time out of that busy life for us, we're very humbled. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, man.
On that personal level, again with your photography, if people want to reach out to you and find out more about your photography and talk about that, where can they reach you?
Granny Mayo on Instagram. I don't use Twitter anymore, but yeah, Instagram.
That's not a bad idea. It is a hellscape.
Well, and Bruce, the most important question: are there still any books left?
So there were pre-orders only, just because I didn't want to buy books out of my pocket and not sell them.
Right.
But if people want them, they can message me, and I could do single prints. Like, that's not an issue.
Ooh,
there you go, guys.
So that means now that I have a little bit of cheddar that I could maybe get my hands on.
Yeah, just message me.
I might.
Yeah.
I might slide into those DMs because there's this Ricky shot from the Rose Bowl that's so fire. Like I still have it like in my computer from the last pod that we did. So yeah,
I got year, right when they won.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. I got to sign those DMs, Papa. But yeah, keep up the great work, man. Like the photos, like I said, your photos, like when I was doing some of this, like obviously with the stuff that we're talking about right now, but even just looking at those old photos, it took me back. It transported me back to that place and those memories and those feelings. And I think that's what all good art does. And so, man, huge shout out to you and your work, Papa. Like,
thank you.
Like mad props.
Well, it looks like you have 3 orders already, me and Ananda and Alex. So I mean, that's at least 3 right there.
But just like Lex says in the chat, Betty Boop is goated though.
Oh man, there definitely hasn't been enough of those this year.
I know. And just real quick, I do plan on making another book with all the photos of these protests.
Wonderful.
Whenever this ends, if it ends, and then all the profits of that will go to charity. I don't want to make any money off of this. Just like with the shirt, 100% will go to charity.
Well, y'all heard it here first. That's an exclusive. There will be another book here by Granny Mayo. 100% of the proceeds are going to be going to charity for Los Angeles immigrant community. And yeah, man, that's class, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. Y'all heard it. Yep. Go ahead and support. Go ahead. When you get this book, not only are you getting just history documented, but you're supporting LA's immigrant community. Bruce, we want to thank you again, man.
Thank you, Papa.
Hopefully, we won't see each other at the stadium, but hopefully, our paths cross and give my love to Remy.
I will.
All right, take care, man.
So much,
stay safe.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
So we do want to say to everybody that perhaps tuned in expecting to hear about soccer and got a talk about perhaps some stuff that is political that they didn't want to hear. We're sorry about it. This happened at the game. It's again history in the making.
Yeah.
it's something that was very noteworthy to talk about, and it's not only noteworthy to talk about in relation to the Galaxy, but noteworthy to talk about in relation to Los Angeles' history. And I'm very proud that I got to cover it. Very proud that I got to document the incredibly brave action by the supporter groups. And again, if you disagree with me, I'm sorry about it. Hopefully we can still be friends, and if we can't, oh well.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say it's me, man. I'm like didn't I tell you guys a long time ago? I think I said this in a pod once, Rob, which is like, if you look at my like personality, I did one of those personality tests, and I'm like very, very much a low conflict avoider. Like conflict, just like it makes me like uneasy, and it like makes me I feel like a little weird talking about stuff like that like that's in conflict. But in this particular case, this is stuff that affects a lot of people in our community, people that are listening to the show. I mean, we know, all of you guys in chat, a lot of you, like, we know, on a personal level, we've said hi to each other, we've had exchange conversations, etc. And I know that this affects a lot of you guys out there. So I think, Rob, like we always say, this is a public service, right? We don't do it. I mean, I could talk to you about LA Galaxy soccer over wings and a beer any time of day, right? But this is something that's like a public service for you guys, and we feel like we owe at least to cover what's going on in the community, which is why I call it the bulletin board, right? We do the shout outs for you guys. We give you guys the announcements of everything that's going on in the Galaxy community. And I feel like just to swipe this by the wayside, I think would be a disservice. And we've got to cover things that affect and news that affects this wonderful, by the way, Galaxy community. So
and we have to not be afraid to have tough conversations, because that's how we're going to overcome the BS. And really, I mean, I just mean like the BS on every kind of level, like people not being able to talk to each other, people just being angry all the time. I mean, but anyway, I mean, again, if you were here expecting Galaxy talk, sorry it took a little while to get to it, but it was vitally important for us to go ahead and speak to somebody that was actually there in the moment, and not only was there in the moment for the walkout, but has been there in the moment for these protests and is documenting it. I mean,
so good
through his very talented lens, I might add. So thanks again to Bruce. But now we're gonna get into the soccer talk. So now, if maybe we should have said at the top of the show, if you're here for the soccer talk, skip to 45, skip to minute 45, right?
Yeah, guys, chapter markers will be in the video but it's okay, because Rob gets to being from being a Scrooge to still Scrooge, so we'll get in the match.
Yeah, well, like I said, one thing that I'm not a Scrooge about is that topic that we just got off. I mean, Ananda said, he's the very non-confrontational one, and Ananda knows that I'm the very like out there, and like, hey, no, this is something we got to talk about. I mean, even if it ruffles some feathers. I mean, look, if Alexi Lawless gets to wear that hat in public, I get to talk about this topic on our podcast, right? So anyway, but like I said, let's get into the soccer talk. The LA Galaxy won. That's simply put, they won. They did a pretty good job. I mean, 3-0 is a good win against a talented Vancouver team. I'm not going to hype it up as much as Ananda did at the top of the show, but yeah, it's a 3-0 victory over a Vancouver Whitecaps team that was the Champions Cup finalists and a second in the Western Conference. The Galaxy took this match at home in front of almost 20,000 fans. Joseph Paintsil recorded a brace. Matheus Nascimento got his first career Galaxy goal at home. And what a goal it was, because he opened the scoring in the second minute with the heads-up play after a corner kick gets out to Edwin Cerrillo at the top of the box. He takes a rip, and Matheus Nascimento is Johnny on the spot to clean up and put it away, because Yohei Takaoka spills that one. There's your all-star keeper there, guys.
Nice pronunciation there, Papa. A+.
It only took me 3 years. Did you see that?
Now it's going to take you another 2 to read and write, but we'll get there. Baby steps. It's all good.
Hey, you know what? But like the Beatles say, it's hard to believe. It's getting better. It's getting better all the time.
So is.
And really quick, before we go any further, I didn't want to forget about the super chat that our brother G Cam hooked us up with at the top of our interview with Bruce. But I definitely wanted to go back to that because it was in relation to Childish Gambino getting engaged. So he says, "Can we get a Se Casó to the tune of Tu y Yo for the newly engaged?" Of course you can, G Cam. That's Se Casó, la 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 la. There we go.
Damn,
congratulations. Son. Yeah. I'll be here all week.
You got
I really will. I really will. I live here.
In there. Man, throw them some more supers, guys. I want to hear some more lalas and some R&B, like some falsettos. Shoot.
I'll even bring out the ukulele and stuff like that. Who
Thanks,
knows?
G-Cam.
Anyway, let's get back into this match. G-Cam, gracias, Papa. Te queremos mucho. So Galaxy up 1-0 early. It's the start they needed. It's the start they wanted. The start we talked about on the show that, you know, it's been all year. They get scored on first and they kind of hang their heads. This is a wonderful start to the match for them. They get on the board early. They get that confidence a little bit in them. And so after a good transition led to a dangerous Galaxy counterattack, Marco Reus picks out an entirely open Paintsil with a sumptuous no-look one-time pass. Paintsil takes a touch to steady himself, and he basically passes in to Takaoka's net in cool fashion for the 2-0 there in the second half. I mean, and this is what you wanted to see. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, Ananda. Joseph had a couple of opportunities in the first half where he could have played people in, and he, you know, decided to take a shot himself when maybe the pass would have been the better option. But I like the fact that he played through and he was able to go ahead and take this goal with confidence, plum, just a wonderful finish. Gives the Galaxy a 2-0 lead. It gives him enough confidence to go ahead and grab that ball and head straight for the spot when Maya Yoshida is brought down for a penalty in the 75th minute. Like I mentioned, he probably got a lot of confidence from that first goal, or was it the fact that his mama and his daughter was at the digs to see him perform? So he picks up the ball, takes it to the penalty spot, slots it home for the 3-0 for his brace. Now he has 3 goals at the digs in his last 2 matches played. And I mean, he's basically terrorized Vancouver. In his career against Vancouver, he has 4 goals and 1 assist, and that's in 3 matches, Ananda. So overall, you know, you said I was a Scrooge. I don't think it's Scrooge-like to say that for as well as they played, you know, there are things that can be improved on. But let's start where we usually do, with the starting lineup. What did you see out of this?
Yeah, I think the big probably calls, if you will, were on the left-hand side, Rob, the 2 on the left there. So Julian Aude, we talked about it. We even posted a short clip about this, which is it'll be interesting what Greg's selections are over the next couple of months, right? Transfer window opens. I believe the secondary transfer window opens officially in like 2 or 3 weeks at the end of this month, July 28th, if not mistaken. You can fact check me on that. But that's going to be interesting because if you talk about flexibility, really the goalkeeper spot and Julian Aude are the only spots that you can probably flex and move. And look, he's got a lot of potential, and I'm sure a lot of teams both inside and outside of MLS are looking at a talent like that, Rob. And we saw it in this game. Thought he played a very, very solid game. You saw him take higher starting positions than John Nelson would. He's got more of an attacking sense. So it'll be interesting again to see that story develop and basically help us answer the question, you know, are the Galaxy just putting him out for show, or are they really investing in this kid's future, and do they really want him in this Galaxy setup, you know, for years to come? I think that's very interesting because I think that's a question mark right now. We don't know yet because, you know, maybe
really, do you think so? Do you think maybe they're just starting him at the moment to kind of put him in the shop window?
I mean, who knows, right? I think we're right to I think we have the right to speculate on that at this moment. But again, I think the first of all, the starts and the appearances that'll tell us something. And Rob, maybe you can ask a question to Greg about this next time, so you know we can get his thoughts, at least from a coaching standpoint, of how Julian's doing. Of course, the other selection I thought that was interesting was Lucas and Aude didn't start, and instead he opted for Diego Fagundes. Hindsight's 2020, and I thought Diego really linked the play very well. I think
I got it wrong. I got it wrong last week. I got to say, pull that receipt.
I think he helped the attacking patterns, the passing rhythm. I think he was really instrumental in that. He played a little deeper than normal, which is honestly, when we've seen Diego play that position, it depends on the opposition, but sometimes he gets overrun. But in this particular game, when we were on the front foot, we played pretty dominant. Our passing rhythm was on, and we were on it. I think Diego's very, very well set up when we set up that way. So I think those are the only two surprises for me. The others were pretty straightforward. What about you, man? Those two, right?
Yeah, no, it's those two. I mean, on the last pod, I called for Sanabria to go ahead and get the start over Diego. Like I said, I was wrong. He did fantastic linking up midfield with attack and even dropping a little bit deeper sometimes to pick up the ball on occasion. So wonderful performance. I mean, people will say, I mean, no goals, no assists, in this match, but he did a lot of work on that isn't, reflected in the stat sheet, right? He did a lot of the dirty work. So fantastic performance. These are the kind of performances that you need when you're not the particular goal scorer on the day, right?
I was gonna say one thing I noticed too as the game went on, like because I had in the first half, I was lucky enough, I had a really good seat. Rob, I hadn't sat in the mezzanine seats for a really long time. So I went up there to meet friend of the show, B Loves from News Across the Galaxy, and we enjoyed the first half together from if you're a FIFA fan, you'll get this, from the telebroadcast view at Dignity Health Sports Park. I definitely had that. It was like just a perfect sort of wide angle shot, so you could see sort of everything that was happening on that pitch. And I thought it was interesting when you insert Julian Aude in there. What happened was I usually say that we build out as a 3-back, right? And it was interesting to see Edwin Cerillo drop in sort of like a center back position, and it was Mickey Yamane and Julian Aude sort of occupying that wing space for us to get out. And Edwin Cerillo was the guy that dropped back, and then that forced. We were talking about Diego a second ago. That essentially forced him to receive the ball deep, which he looked pretty comfortable in throughout the afternoon. So again, is that sort of a tactical tweak now that Greg looks to insert moving forward? Because Aude and Nelson are very different profiles, like we've always said on the show, right? Aude is much more attacking. He's a little bit of a better dribbler. He gets into out of tight spaces. John Nelson, very, very solid defender. So it'll be interesting, like I said, but I thought that was interesting in the first half. You could see that happening, and I know like B-Nags and I were talking about it. And it's just interesting to see.
Couple of things here from this match before we get into specific things that we saw from it. A couple of stats here. Marco Reus now has 11 goal contributions in his last 11 matches played. Gabriel Pec recorded his 3rd assist of the season, and Edwin Cerillo made his 150th career regular season appearance in the win. Second shutout for Novak Micevic. Ananda, I've been training myself to say this one correctly because
nice.
We've been saying it wrong or maybe I've been saying it wrong for my entire life, which is the past 3 years since he was signed. But Micevic recorded his 2nd shutout, and that kind of splits the series for the two teams. Of course, the Whitecaps took the first game 2-1. Galaxy is able to get some revenge 3-0, and in 19 all-time matches played at home against the Whitecaps, the Galaxy hold a 12-4-3 record. They are now unbeaten in their last 6 matches against the Whitecaps, dating back to 2020. Ananda, what did you see in the stats?
Yeah, very dominant LA Galaxy performance, Rob. And I think the stats in this game definitely matched my eye test, which is not always often the case. But you look at the possession there, 55% to Vancouver's 45 shots. This is where the Galaxy dominated. 12 shots to Vancouver's 6. 8 of ours on goal, Rob, to Vancouver's 1. So that's huge right there. And then also from a passing perspective, again, we were very good in possession. 508 total passes to Vancouver's 401. But I'll tell you, for me, the big chance, I think for me, Rob, and this is a welcome sight, and I'm hoping that this continues along and further in the season. And it's been our Achilles heel lately. So the Galaxy had 2 big chances, and we buried both of them. 0 big chances missed.
Did they execute?
They executed this game to perfection.
Yeah.
When they got their chances again. But you know, I'm not disagreeing with you in that when they had some chances, maybe not constituting as big chances, but they had some chances that they did fluff their lines in the first half. But when they had those massive ones, the penalty, Nacimiento's, again, a stroke of luck. We've talked about this too a little bit, right? They needed a little stroke of luck. That first goal, Takayoka has a little bobble, but credit to Nacimiento. Nasty Nas, his instincts in front of the box. He's got those poacher's instincts, right? That's what he showed. That's what he showed us in that play, which was really nice. And yeah, that zero big chances missed. We finally executed in the final third. And like I said, Papa, these recent games have been tough because the Galaxy have gotten themselves in good positions, but they just wouldn't complete the play, finish the final action, as Greg would say. And like I said, in those 90 minutes, this team looked like its old self again. They got an early goal, right? They haven't been in the lead. Forgot what the exact stat is, but we haven't been in the lead early in games this season, hardly. And I think we've only scored the first goal, 4 or 5 times this season. But look, we scored the early goal. And like you said, missed a few chances. There was a couple frustrating moments. I'm not even going to lie. Pec had one with JP wide open in the box and completely missed it. He took the shot himself and completely missed that opportunity, whereas he could have slide ruled through it to JP and it would have been a wide open goal for him. But look, credit to the Galaxy because, Rob, they kept going even when early chances were fumbled right in front of the goal. And like I said, man, that second half, just the passing rhythm. I'm telling you, there was I forgot what minute it was, but there was like, as soon as the ball went out after a passing rhythm and then Vancouver tackled it away, fans got up to applaud. They applauded what they were seeing because this was like, and I heard some guy next to me was like, yo, this is fun. This is fun to watch. I'm like, yeah, it is fun to watch. This is like last year's Galaxy team, that speed, that intensity, that making hard runs for each other, being, you know, in the right position for each other, that sense of urgency, Papa, not only with the passing, but with the final action. This is kind of what we've been missing. And it was just nice to see again, where the team gave the fans something to cheer about and something to be proud about. And that was, I think, that performance 3-0.
And it's not inaccurate to say that the team looked like its old self again, despite, you know, missing those chances, because last year they missed a couple of chances in each game as well. Only they made so many chances that they were able to, you know, compensate for that. Lex says game coulda, woulda, shoulda been 5 or 6-0, but we'll take what we can get at this point.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at.
I guess like you said, Lex, just go into the matches, not expecting anything, and you'll be pleasantly surprised and have a good time. This was really, though, you know, for as much as Marco Reus is pulling the strings there in the midfield and everything like that, this was really Joseph Paintsil's day for his 2 goals and for his I guess like him being able to get over the hump, right? Especially you know, with, and this was unbeknownst to us, but everything that was going on with him and happening to him. You know, we did mention he missed a couple of chances there in the first half, made a couple of incorrect decisions when he could have played players in. But I also mentioned that I loved that he played through and he got his goal, and then he showed the confidence to pick up that penalty and get that second goal. Ananda, I don't know if, you know, you were privy to what he's been dealing with, you know, but Joseph Paintsil let us know that he was receiving racial abuse online, and this is absolutely ridiculous for a player that is going out there to try to entertain you, for you to insult them and be racist to them. Ralju says, I'm glad JP calls out his haters, because he absolutely did. He absolutely told them that, you know, like I acknowledged that you're doing what you're doing, but you're not going to get me down, right? And I'm super happy that JP has the strength of character not to get down over ignorant people. G Cams is like, these dudes are human beings at the end of the day and not these gods like we fans sometimes make them out to be. Yeah. They're just men. They have emotions just like us, right? And so when we abuse them or chant against them, I mean, they feel it. And then when you take it that extra step and you go racist, man, it's like just stop, man. I mean, I feel for him and the things that he has to go through, man.
Yeah, and well, I was gonna say too, and on top of that, I mean, even just like Comet says, there was a lot of paints and slander last couple weeks. I mean, look, we've criticized him on the show too, right? Like he was missing chances. We had even like some video reels of him of just completely fluffing his lines, but some people just take it too far, and I'm not even gonna entertain that because that's just disgusting to me. And so less said about that, the better. But just from the, you know, constructive criticism or just criticism in general of his performance now online, I think this was a hugely gutsy performance. And on top of that, you think about just the psychology, Robert, with the penalty, right? Think about like, I'm sure what was going through his head at that moment is if I miss this penalty, the abuse, the criticism will just continue, right? Like it'll cancel out the goal that I just made. And so just the cojones, man, to take that ball and say, you know what? I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for my faith. I'm doing this for my daughter. What those reasons are for that motivates him as a man, as a human being, as a player. That's guts, man. That's cojones. So big shout out to JP. And look, I really hope his season now turns around a little bit. I was hoping that his season would turn around after that RSL performance, but I'm hoping after this now, I think there's a little bit more positivity, a little more positive vibes. Maybe his mama being there was a good luck charm. Hopefully that we'll ride that out for the rest of the year.
She's making that good Ghanaian food for him right now, man.
Because oh yeah, I saw you say something about that to him after, like, hey, what's your mom making you? What Ghanaian food is your mom making you?
You know, I gotta always ask about the food.
Of course,
you know I'm a bit K for a reason, man. Like.
So yeah, so no, mad props to JP, man. Super massive performance, big ups.
Yeah, no, and shout out to Mama Paintsil too. I mean, it's beautiful that she was able to see him play. Joseph let us know that she hadn't seen him play since 2014, so more than a decade. I believe he's 25, 26, so he was about 14 or 15 when the last time Mama Paintsil saw him play. So that's real special. And you know, his partner and his daughter were here, so he has family around him. You know, hopefully this is far be it from the football field, but hopefully this is a nice, beautiful moment for Joseph on a personal level. And you know, then on the other side, hopefully that translates to the football pitch. And you know, because this was the performance that Galaxy fans were waiting to see for one night. If only one night, the Digs became a fortress again. You know, there was a clean sheet. The crowd or the fans that were still in the stands, like Ananda says, appreciated the performance, and it's kind of what we were talking about last pod. I mean, they gave the fans something to cheer about, something to be happy about, and I told you guys that it would be horrible to have to watch those fireworks with the Galaxy having a loss hanging over their head, and it wasn't the case. They got that 3-0 win. They you know, showed out for the fans, and you know, then the fireworks came and fans got to celebrate.
Yeah, really quick, we didn't put it in the show notes, Rob, but you know who also wanted to see the fireworks apparently after the game? The some of the Vancouver players and the coach that wanted to do some drills. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I heard about that, and then a little bit later,
hilarious.
I got the video, and people were speculating that it was like their little form of protest against the United States themselves, because they were like, I guess that there was an announcement about how when the warm-ups or like the cool downs were done, like they would go ahead and go to the fireworks show, and these cats were like, you know, were acting like several times that they were done, and they were just start sprinting again. And so yeah, man, I mean, I don't know if it was like their little form of silent protest, but they were definitely taking the mickey out of the crowd a little bit.
That was actually pretty hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie.
Well, we have breaking news from our good friend Lex. He says if the Galaxy beat DC United and St. Louis lose, we'll be tied for 14th. Hey, it's a start, right, Lex? It's a start.
All the way.
G Cam says, bro, they even took a mini walk.
These guys were taking the piss.
I love the pettiness.
Love it.
I mean, because I'm petty and I love it.
I was gonna say, I know. I was gonna say, I think you appreciated that. To be honest,
that's something like I would do, man. Oh man, I love the pettiness. Well, anyway, Ananda, let's go ahead and go to our defending the badge winner. You guys voted on a defending the badge winner, but I want to kind of see who Ananda is picking this week. Of course, Marco Reus, he had the assist, 2 chances created, 90% pass accuracy. Again, did well on both sides of the ball. 4 clearances, 2 of those were headed, 1 interception and 1 recovery. Mateus Nascimento had the opening goal, 1 recovery, 1 dual 1. Novak Mikovic had 2 saves. One of them was Mitrovic was a fantastic one-handed save off a free kick, and just generally he made his presence felt in this match. I mean, even getting mad at his defenders a couple of times on 2 goal mouth scrambles. I mean, he made himself real big. Went out to the ball, even got hit for it. So really, really good performance by Mitrovic. And then of course, Joseph Paintsil, 2 goals, 5 total shots, a chance created, a clearance, an interception, 5 recoveries, 5 duels won, and the most fouled player in the match. Ananda, who are you picking for this one?
Well, I have 2, but I will. Well, I'll do it this way. So I have. For me, I mean, this is a tough one. I thought Marco Reus was the artist on the pitch, man. He made everything tick. But look, for all the things that we talked about, especially off the pitch and all of the things that he had to overcome in this game, it's got to be JP for me, man. It's got to be JP. We talked about, like, defending the badge, defending the shirt is about, part of it is also just like overcoming some demons, like breaking through, all those buzzwords, right? For just like getting over the hump and getting over the line, and especially amidst all that racial abuse stuff. Like, man, I've seen so many stories and like documentaries and things like that of like how that stuff can get to you mentally. I mean, you look at like just, the mental health issues, right? That some especially like athletes in a very high level that they have. I mean, you look at even stories like Naomi Osaka, right? In tennis. And there's so many people can take that the wrong way. And so like, that's just a strength of his character, his mentality. Obviously, his faith has a big part to do with that. With that, Rob, his support system. But just shout out to him, man. So I think for that and the 2-goal performance and overcoming those demons, I think I got to give it to JP. But I got to give it to someone else, or maybe some, what's the right word? Entity else. And might be where you're going. The other defending badge is the fans. Got to give it to the fans who made their voice heard, Rob. So that's my second one, because I got to give him a shout out. Not even honorable mention, but they're my co-defending the badge.
You're not too far off, man. I was going to go with the fans, and then it's funny because you were like entity. I'm like,
what do I call them?
let's use that word too.
Yeah.
I was going to say entity, but no, the defensive unit as a whole, huge. I've been calling for a shutout for weeks, and they finally delivered one, and this is huge for them. I mean, not only did they get the shutout, but they did so against a very, very good Vancouver team that was scoring a lot of goals. But it doesn't matter what we pick, Ananda, because the people picked with 48% of the vote, and maybe some folks in chat will be kind of upset about it. Let me know if you're one of those people. But the people who voted,
was it Aquino?
No. So there was 90 million votes for Aquino, and they all came from me. No, but Marco Reus takes the defending the badge with 48% of the vote. Joseph Paintsil, who, like I said, I picked the fans and the defense. If I had to pick an individual, it would have been Paintsil. for exactly the same reasons that the brother G Cam says.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter what we pick. The folks, the people, la gente, el pueblo, they picked Marco Reus, and he is
He was
defending the badge
good,
winner.
man. He was
He
so
was.
good.
He
Well,
was.
Greg, what was the post-match comment by Greg? He's just smarter than
Smarter than
everyone else.
everybody else.
And
Yeah,
he
he's
kind
smarter
of
than
like
everyone
laughed to and he kind of like laughed to himself. But it's so true. Like he sees these moving pictures. He knows where the next play is going to develop. He even points to Nacimiento to make that run so that he can create space. And again, shout out to Gabby for hitting him in that space. And bro, like he knew where JP was going to be. He just like shimmied around, wrapped his right leg over it, and just, man, I think he's easily been our best
no
player this
look
year.
one time pass,
for all the Marco haters early in the season, sorry, but he shot y'all up officially because he's been really good, like really good.
Damn, Ananda, I need that on a t-shirt. The brother G Cam says Raquinho is an entity.
Oh, I thought you wanted this on t-shirt. Why doesn't Diggs have flan?
No, you know what I want on a t-shirt, man. I mean, you showed it to me earlier. Where was it? The Alexi Lawless with the cowboy hat, the cowboy hat. That's what I want on a t-shirt.
I'm sure you do.
That thing was ridiculous, man. Yes, exactly. Doesn't it look like the cowboy from Fallout, the show Fallout? That's on Amazon Prime. Kind of looks like that to me. Anyway, guys, Marco Reus says you're defending the badge winner, and we will stop waffling about now and bringing the show on home. After 21 matches, the Galaxy still find themselves 15th in last place in the stands, but they pick up a much needed win if they're going to start putting some daylight at the end of this and some good feeling at the end of the season together. They now have a 2-13-6 record, 22 goals for, 42 goals against. They have reached double-digit points, y'all. 12 points.
Yay.
0.57 points per game. Negative 20 goal difference. But like said, if the Galaxy beats DC United and St. Louis loses, they are up to 14th place. I mean, and it's baby steps at this point. And it's all about building on this last performance and building momentum. DC United is a winnable match. You've talked about it, Ananda. We'll bring you guys that preview. Austin, for reasons that you brought up last pod, them scoring even less goals than the Galaxy, another winnable match. And then you have El Tráfico, where anything is possible. I mean, theoretically, the Galaxy could be going into El Tráfico with a 3-game win streak. Riding a high, and if they win that one, that's a 4-game win streak, and they're riding an even bigger high.
Bro, 4-game win streak? Are you kidding me? Oh man, do you know what? If that happens, I'm gonna be upset. You know why? Because this team's gonna give me hope, and we all know what hope does to us.
Well, think about it. If they're
I'm
on
gonna
12
be upset.
points, if they're on 12 points, if they do go on that 4-game win streak, they'll be on 24 points with how many games left in the season? Let's see here. 4 more games, 25. So 9 games left.
9 games left. Yeah.
Like JP from Angels in the Outfield said, it could happen? ? Who knows? If they do go on that streak, I know you are going to get that hope in those eyes. And but
on the flip side, though, that is good omen heading into Leagues Cup. So that is good momentum heading into that tournament. We need the momentum. We need the momentum for sure. Yeah, and one game at a time. Let's just pick up 3 points. 3 points.
Imagine a 4-game win streak, going to Leagues Cup, make a good showing in Leagues Cup, actually win the thing. Wow,
nah, you crazy. Now you're getting to delusional status.
wait. So
let's just wrap the show.
Before I was Scrooge, and now I'm delusional. All right, cool. Well, I went to different extremes today on today's show. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here with us today. On Thursday, July 10th, we'll bring you our full match preview against DC United with our special guest, Peyton Bedouin of Talking Galaxy. Shout out the homies from Talking Galaxy. And then a week from today, on Monday, July 14th, we'll bring you a DC United reaction. Ananda, before we get on out of here, anything else to add?
Really quick, shout out, Papa. Thank you so much, Cam. Rad show, guys.
Gracias.
No, gracias de nuevo. No, I just want to say, just thank you to everyone in chat and for everyone listening to us and everyone that's going to listen on playback. like Rob said, I think we had to dedicate part of the show to just all of the societal issues that are happening right now that are affecting the galaxy, right? Feel like it's our obligation to report that stuff to you guys. And I mean, Bruce was awesome. I mean, just like the stories that he tells with his pictures are amazing. You just, like, guys, I urge all of you, if you haven't yet, go to his Instagram. You know, whether you're for or against, go to his Instagram, check out those photos, because pictures just tell 1,000 words, and he tells beautiful stories with all those pictures. And man, it's his art is really, really nice. So I urge you, I implore you to go ahead and check that out. And of course, like we said earlier in the show, if you want to, you know, reach out to a supporter group, get in touch with them, see how you can be a part of anything and everything, go ahead and probably hit up their DMs. I know Bruce said he's at Grainy Mayo. He's open. His DMs are open as well, just so you can get in touch. And yeah, guys, like this is, I think Josh said it one time. This is so much about the community, right? And it's times like these where the community comes together. And so we are just here to try to do our part. And that's all I got to leave you guys, man. Is just like, I love this Galaxy community, and I love the community that we've built here with the Cuneros, but just the larger LA Galaxy community. And I just appreciate it, man. It just gives me a larger appreciation for what we got. So that's all I got for you.
I mean, couldn't have said it better myself. That's all I got for you guys as well. We hope to always be a source of comfort and news and understanding for you guys, and just a refuge where you guys can come and kind of escape hard times and just anything that's going on in the world. And we hope to be able to, keep you informed on those things as well. So, guys, we appreciate you being here once again. For my co-host, thank you for watching another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. That microphone wanted to go home already, man. You see that?
Yeah, I did.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on Thursday night. One thing left to say: Jesus se casó.
Wow.